Right, so for today's planting we're going with another mystery tree, although this isn't quite the same as yesterday's in that sense. So this was sold to me as a smooth custard apple. Now that could be a couple of things, but I think it's probably Annona Cherimoya, I think, the Cherimoya, which is quite a shade-tolerant little tree, like most of the Annonas. So we're going to be putting this in an area where it does get quite a lot of shade in some seasons and reasonably bright light in others. So this is going to be in an area underneath some of the Delonix regia and one of the big Brachystegia spiciformis, in an area that's sort of a general thicket that I've been growing up over the years. It will get quite regular irrigation, and in fact this has been watered earlier today, which means the ground is nice and soft and easy to work with, and I really don't need to dig deep down and break the pan for this one. It should get enough water that it really doesn't have to worry about the pan really being a barrier to its roots at all. So this is actually going in between a variety guava and a Kent mango, which will both be kept reasonably small, so they shouldn't interfere too much with the light for this one. There were a lot of Nephrolepis exaltata, I think, giant sword ferns here, which I did clear out a while ago because they were starting to crowd out some of the native bulbs, but I'm going to be sort of continuing that bulb tradition by adding in an iris on one side and what I think is some sort of crinum on the other. These should provide two very different sort of chemical barriers, although of course being an Annona, this tree is quite chemically distinct from just about anything I could plant nearby. Anyway, so it doesn't really need that much in the way of chemical protection, but it'll be quite nice to have a few more things growing around the base, and it'll shade the base a little bit more and keep it just a little bit more humid around the base in between waterings. We're also going to be putting in a couple of pieces of peperomia, which is really just the most shade tolerant of the succulents. They're really good in areas like this. They should spread out from a nice low carpet, shouldn't really interfere too much with the bulbs, but should, yeah, keep a little bit more humidity in the soil, keep the chickens from tearing everything up. And I'll probably be coming out tomorrow or the day after that to put a few little pieces of bamboo cane around this, because eventually the chickens will come and try and dig this up. And although I think the sapling will stand up to that, I'm really not convinced that these two bulbs which I propagated are big enough yet to cope with that level of abuse. Right, so that should be everything for today. Thank you very much for watching. I'm sorry if I'm sounding a little snottier than usual. I seem to be developing a blocked nose for some reason. Please tune in again tomorrow. I will be planting something else, despite the fog in my sinuses, and we can find out what together.